Hi, welcome. This is a really short morning practice just to kind of wake up the body, nothing too dramatic, just looking at getting some movement through the joints, some awakening in the spine, and also a little bit of activity and a little wake up for the brain as well. So, all you're going to need for this practice is somewhere to practice on that is warm and comfortable, and a blanket or a low pillow to have to hand. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to sit onto my blanket. I'm going to invite you to come and sit however feels good for you. We're just going to arrive together with a few breaths. My cat wandering in and out of the shop. So when you're ready, just let the hands rest on the body and take a few easy breaths. And feel the weight of the sit bones connecting down into the earth. And feeling the weight of the sit bones as you take your attention right down into that place of contact between the sit bones and the earth. And then feel and draw in the mind's eye and feel the spine as you trace it from the tailbone all the way up through the curves of the back into the base of the skull. Feel the spine long. That sense of connection down into the earth through the sit bones, and that sense of lift and lightness and length through the spine. And then just take 2 or 3 nice breaths. Smooth, easy breaths, richer, deeper breaths. You could breathe out through the mouth, but really feel that as you're breathing in, you're filling all of the lungs with the breath. One more. Good. And then letting your eyes open if you would like. My cat's just knocking things over in the background. You can probably hear. And let's just start by warming up the head and the shoulders. Just trying to drink my water. Drop the chin over to, or drop the ear rather over to the shoulder, and the chin towards the chest. And keeping the chin close to the chest, just take a few free half head rolls. And keeping the breath easy in the body, just breathing and moving. Next time that ear, doesn't matter which side, comes over to the shoulder, let it kind of hang there. Feel the shoulders get heavy. Take the arms off the legs to give away the weight. And then bring the chin towards the shoulder a little. Feel the back of the neck. Ease with the breath. Maybe float the opposite hand, so the hand on the side that you're not dropping the head towards. Either it stays on the ground or maybe it floats a little way, and feel that added sense of length. And you could create a gentle reach into that hand. And release. Roll the chin across the chest, come over to the other side. Bring the chin towards the shoulder. Feel the spine long, feel sensation moving more into the length of the back of the neck. And then with the opposite hand, creeping the hand away, maybe even floating the hand and reaching into the hand. And release. And then just free roll it a couple of times. Yeah. Bring the head back to center, and let's just lift the chin up towards the sky, looking up. Looking up is really good on these dark days. Bring the chin towards the chest. This is recorded in the foggy days of January 2021. So no matter what time of year you're practicing, If you're feeling a little bit low and in need of a lift to the spirits, looking up, physically lifting the chin and lifting the eyes can really help stimulate a lift within the system. One more. And then just shake out the arms a little bit. Shake out the shoulders. And let's come down onto the ground because this, oh, hello Flo, sitting on my blanket now, is a gentle morning practice. Off you go, baby. So I'm going to place my blanket across my mat and I'm going to bring my pelvis onto it just for a little bit of extra support. And then I'm going to come and lie down. So I'm going to roll to the side, or you could lay straight down. And let's start just by feeling the weight of the body on the ground. Yeah, and take the feet a little bit wider than hip distance, maybe as wide as the mat, and a little bit forward. And bring the palms of the hands onto the front of the pelvis so you can feel the weight of the hands. And keeping a sense of the pelvis being quite still, begin to move the knees. So you can move the knees as if you were twisting, but we're not taking them towards the ground. And we're not trying to move the pelvis very much. We're trying to move the thigh bones and the hip joints. And we're just rolling onto the inner and outer edges of the feet. But we're not letting the pelvis come into the movement, if you can see the difference. So we're keeping the pelvis really quite contained with the hands, and we're just waking up the lower body, waking up the hip joints. Yeah. And I like that feeling of being able to feel these ASIA joints here and bones in the front of the body. I hope I remembered that right. I'm a bit sleepy this morning. But just being able to feel them move and feel the back of the pelvis and that contact with the ground. And the sacrum, that kind of triangular fused bones at the base of the spine, the sacrum stays pretty heavy and flat on the ground. Okay, and then let's just take one knee out and bring it in, and the other knee out and bring it in. So we're just taking the legs separately now, just getting a little bit of abduction as the leg comes away. And just feeling that rolling of weight through the foot. Yeah, good. And one more time to each side. Great, and then let's do it together. Let's do both knees together. So taking them wide, rolling them, and see if you can touch the knees. And then take them wide, and then bringing them in. And you could get the feet involved, so you could lift the toes up, take the legs wide, and bring them in and turn the toes in toward one another. Turn the toes wide, open the knees, and then bring the toes in, knees together. So you could just take these small little movements, a bit more control, a little bit more muscular effort through the legs. And just beginning to really wake up the ankle joints, the knees, the hips. Yeah, great. And then let's just let the legs just have a little rest. Just give them a bit of a shake, a bit of a wiggle. Wiggle the hips from side to side. Okay. And let's come into the shoulders. Let's take the arms up and over the head and just reach more into the right side of the body and into the left side of the body. And just whether the hands come fully to the ground or not, it doesn't matter. Just reach and stretch. And then you can interlace your hands above your head and thinking more about moving the waist, like opening the waist, just sliding the arms from side to side. And as you do, feel like the hip and the armpit are coming closer together on the side that the arms are moving to. So this space is getting a little bit shorter. Other side of the body's getting a little bit longer. And then you go the other way. So it's almost as if there's a little squeeze in the musculature through the side body that's just drawing those arms from one side to the other. So there's a little bit of contraction and a little bit of release, just waking up those side core muscles. Yeah, I'm getting maybe a gentle awakening into the spine, this lateral movement as well. Yeah, lovely. Come back to center, bring the arms up towards the sky, palms facing, and this is one of my favorites. And drop the shoulders heavy into the ground. And we're just going to walk the hands. So that just means we're just going to lift one hand higher than the other. Feel how the shoulder blade comes up from the earth. And then just swap. And just let the breath be really free and easy. Just keep swapping from side to side. And you may find that if you drop the opposite elbow, you can get a little roll across the back of the body as well. So you can keep the head super heavy on the ground. And you just roll, so you're getting a little massage into the shoulders. Yeah, lovely. And as you breathe out, let the arms come over the head. And release and just bring them down. And we're going to do the same, but we're going to do it into the hips now. Now we're going to do it into the hips. I want you to imagine that you're lifting one hip up and dropping it down. Lifting one hip up and dropping it down. But you're not lifting the feet. And your movement's not coming from the knees. It's coming from the hips. So it's as if you're just trying to lift one hip and then the other. Yeah, really nice. Just taking it from one side to the other. And this will be activating a little bit into the core. So just feeling the work and the musculature that's having to come alive to get this movement going. And then we're going to bring it in with the arms. Okay. So we're going to reach the arms up towards the sky. Just going to take a rest for a moment. And this is a bit that's going to wake up the brain because we're going to work bilaterally across the body. So when we cross the body, it's very integrative for the brain, but it also means it has to connect a lot faster to make everything make sense, right? So I'm going to lift my left shoulder up and my right hip. And I'm going to drop them down, right shoulder, left hip, and down. And the weight of the pelvis still connects to the ground. You're just finding a little lift in one side of the hip. Now, if this feels quite okay, you could try it with the legs lifted. So you could bring the knees in towards the body and then lift the feet towards the sky. Legs don't have to be straight. Knees can be towards the chest to take the pressure off the belly or the spine. And then do the same. So lifting right shoulder, maybe left hip, down, left shoulder, right hip, and down. I don't know, it looks like you're kind of, I don't know what this would look like in space. Running in a weird way, or like some kind of ladybug. I don't know. Anyway, but I can feel a rich activation in my core. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Keep the breath flowing and just rest when you want, right? Maybe a couple more. Yeah. And then drop the arms out to the side, let the arms rest. Feet can come straight to the floor if you have enough energy this morning, keeping the legs a little soft. Take the feet a little wide and begin to rotate through the ankles. Okay. So you could also just lift one foot off the ground and do this. So you could be more here if the back demands just rotating and then just swapping sides. Or the legs are lifted. And if you're anything like my ankles, you'll hear a lot of cracking and all the air being moved out the joints. Yeah, and then just paddle the feet. So I call this paddling anyway. Point the toes of one foot, flex the other. And then we're going to wake up the legs a little bit. So if the lower back is tender, you can keep one foot on the floor for this and just work one side and then do the other. But if the legs are happy, keep both legs up. Legs closer to the body is more gentle for the spine and for the belly. See how you get on. Otherwise, you can bring the heels more over the hips. Okay. And then we're going to really activate the legs. So I want you to flex your feet. Now you can keep your knees bent as you do this. You don't have to have straight legs. Mine just happened to go a little bit long. Draw the toes back towards the body. And then with active legs, active feet, whether the legs are bent or not, bring the heels together and turn the toes out like Charlie Chaplin. And then go the other way. Bring the big toes together and try and get the knees to kiss. And then try and get the calves to kiss. And the knees to kiss. And really feel how you're externally rotating the thigh bones and the hip joints and internally. You rest whenever you need. Rejoin if you want, or just stay resting. You do what's right for you. Everybody's body's going to feel really different. Some of these movements might look simple, but feel super tricky. So don't worry about it. Yeah, maybe one more. And then going the other way. Really nice. And then bending the knees and just letting the knees come in towards the body. And rather than pulling them in, just catching hold of the knees with the hands, letting the arms be a little bit long. And just walk the knees a little bit again. Just this time you're moving them with the hands. It's a little more passive in the hips. And then take a few circles. Take the knees wide, comfortable distance away and together. And feel a sense of looseness and fluidity moving into the hip joints. Maybe changing direction when you feel ready. A couple of times the other way. Okay. One last little one.
And then let's drop the feet down onto the floor. And let's take away the blanket that's underneath us. We're just going to roll that to the side. Get a sense of how the hips feel. We're going to take a spinal roll to massage the spine, but we're going to do it segmentally, which means we're not going to bring the spine up in one kind of fluid transition from tailbone to base of skull. We're going to break it up. So we're going to try and get really interested in the detail of the spine. So first of all, I'm just tucking and untucking my tailbone. So I'm just keeping my bottom on the floor and just massaging the lower back. As I tuck, or untuck rather, I get a little arch in the lumbar spine, and as I tuck, that spreads, lower back spreads in the ground. And then letting the breath just be free and easy. As you breathe out, press down through the feet and just tuck, 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 and see if you can just hover. So I can't quite get my hand under my bottom. My buttocks are alive, my legs are alive, I'm tucking the tailbone under, and I'm just really feeling into that lumbar spine. Yeah, and then very gradually, I'm going to try and lift it a little bit harder with the breath, and I can only just about get my hand under my bottom. So you can leave your hand there for a gauge. Coming up a little bit higher now, my bottom is completely free from the ground, but I'm still tucking. I'm just going to take it really nice and slow. If you want, the arms may just feel that they naturally just want to come up, but keep awareness in the spine. You're really curious about that spine and how it feels to come up. It doesn't matter how high you come. It's more about connecting into the spine. And then whichever height you've come to, just drop down a little and then come back up a little. Next time you drop down twice as low as before and come up. Drop down 3 times as low as before and come up. So each time you drop, you're dropping a little bit further, and then you're really taking your time to come up again. And this would really activate the glutes as well as just giving a lovely massage to the spine. And we're not coming too high so that then we change the relationship in the pelvis. We're keeping the pelvis pretty tucked most of the time. And then when that lowering carries your pelvis all the way down to the ground, you can just let the pelvis rest down. As you breathe out, just putting the hands down onto the body. Yeah, and let's just let the legs lengthen away. Just slide one heel away, just slide the other heel away, and just roll the thigh bones in and out. And as they go in and out, they'll waggle the knees and waggle the feet. Yeah. Reach the arms over the body. Oh, my t-shirt's coming out. Reach the arms over the body. Give yourself a nice big stretch and just move however feels good on the ground. Let's roll over onto the side and come on up onto all fours. And we'll just take a little bit of an awakening for the back of the body. So with the toes tucked, softness through the elbows, but space across the upper back. I'm going to tuck my toes under and take the weight of my pelvis down. Give a little wriggle through the pelvis. Notice how I'm not kind of dropping and bowing through my chest, but I'm not rounding either. There's a lot of length in the spine. You're going to rest the head, and then you can either take it, you can just be here taking a few breaths. You could slide the hands a little further forward, keeping a softness and a quiet lift through the ribs so that you don't back down too much. Or if you're feeling up to it this morning, just carry it up into down face dog. So when you're ready, letting the pelvis come up, letting the head release, and you can walk the legs a little bit. Take any little movements that feel good. Yeah, and then a big breath in through the nose, and maybe a fluttering out through the lips. And drop down onto the knees. And we'll untuck the toes and just walk the hands back into the body. And if kneeling isn't okay for you, you can just come and sit however feels good. But if kneeling is all right, we'll just close the practice as we began with a little bit of breath awareness. So I like to rest the left hand on top of the right, touching at the thumbs. You lay your hands however you would like. And let's just take a few breaths. Noticing how you feel.
your energy levels. And if it feels appropriate and available to you this morning and of interest, you could just give a little gratitude for all the movement that was possible in the body this morning. Just give a little gratitude towards that. May not be what we expected or what we desired, but just to recognize and to celebrate what was achieved and just to be really grateful for that. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a really good rest of the day.